Hey guys, welcome back to my awkward channel. So as per your request, I'm here today to give you a storytime video. I don't usually do storytime videos because I just don't think that I have very interesting stories to share. But you guys asked for it, so I'm here to deliver it to you. So this particular story I'm going to share today happened when I was in high school. I can't exactly remember how old I was, but I was around 17 or 18. And this story is about that one time where I just completely crashed and ruined someone's wedding. Okay, strictly speaking, I wasn't the only person responsible, okay? It was me and two of my other friends as well. But anyways, so I was in high school. To give you some context, the school I went to was a Christian school. So we had this huge chapel on campus where the students would go once every week for chapel service or assemblies, if you want to call it that. I'm not really sure if you have something similar in schools overseas or if they call it the same thing, but assemblies is just when the principal would make announcements and talk about stuff and whatnot. So we had this teacher from the school that wanted to do her wedding in that chapel, which now that I think about it is kind of weird. I mean, she probably just wanted to have a really simple and budget wedding, but it's still kind of weird to do it in a school, even if it's a chapel. But anyways, she wanted to have a few musicians who could play live at her wedding. So what happened was our music teacher recommended me and two of my other friends, one pianist and one violinist. So there were the three of us. It was really cheap, but it was still a paid job, which seemed really good to me at the time because we were just students, you know. So we rehearsed quite a few times and made sure everything was okay and it was all good and everything. But little did we know that we would be screwing up majorly on the actual day of the wedding. So comes the day of the wedding, I was super nervous because it was my first time playing at any event. Our job was to entertain the guests when they arrive, and then play the Park Bells Canon when the bride walks down the aisle, and then play the wedding march for the recessional. It seemed quite straightforward and very simple, but no, it did not go according to plan at all. So first off, no one told us when the bride was going to be arriving. So we had no idea how long we needed to entertain the guests for, like whether it would be 10 minutes or 15 minutes or 30 minutes or even longer than that. So the entire time we were just waiting really anxiously and we had no idea what was happening. I haven't really been to that many weddings before, especially to perform, but I feel like that was a problem that could have been easily solved. We just needed communication. But we were completely left in the dark, so we had no idea what was going on and what the schedule was. So we were just playing through this piece, and then all of a sudden in the middle, my pianist friend suddenly switched to the Park Bells Canon. And I was like, oh, the bride's probably coming, so I'd better catch up and switch with her as well. So me and the violinist managed to work together and switch on time. So that was okay, we managed to make it smooth. But this is where it starts getting really bad. So the aisle goes down the middle of the chapel, but then at the end there are two mini steps which kind of go up to a little platform where the altar is. Thinking back now, we probably shouldn't have let my pianist friend lead because she didn't really have any chamber experience at the time. But honestly, I don't know if I could have done any better. And we didn't really have any choice because she was the only person sitting in the place where she could see everything clearly. So what we were supposed to do was to let the bride walk down the aisle, walk up the two steps to where the minister and the priest was at the altar. But that's not what happened at all. And with Park Bells Canon, as you know, it's really easy to finish somewhere in the middle of the piece. Unfortunately, what happened was I think my pianist friend panicked and then she queued for us to finish way too early. So the bride had finished walking down the aisle and she was about to take a step up onto the first step, but she couldn't because we were literally on the last chord of Park Bells Canon and we were finishing a piece. So she had to stop and then stay at the bottom of the platform. It looked so awkward because it was really obvious that she was going to keep walking, but then she couldn't because of us. All because of us. I already felt so bad, but it actually gets worse. So they went through the ceremony and everything and we had to wait for it to end because we needed to stay for the recessional. So for the last part, we needed to go up to the second floor of the chapel because there was an organ and my pianist friend had to play the wedding march on the organ. Me and my violinist friend had already finished our jobs, so we didn't need to do anything else, but we all went together anyways. So the ceremony finished and the bride started walking out, and that was the cue for my friend to start playing the wedding march. And it was all fine and everything, but then I think she didn't realize that the bride would take longer than expected to exit the chapel. So she played the wedding march once, finished it, and the bride was only halfway out. Normally in the situation, you just start over again and play it all over again, and honestly no one would notice. But she didn't do that, so she just stopped playing completely, and there was just this god-awful silence in the chapel, and it was really bad. It was really bad. After a few moments of really painful silence, the bride kind of half yells to my friend, "Play it again." So yeah, she played it again, but it was so bad and really awkward, and I felt really guilty. We didn't just screw up the entrance, but we had to screw up the exit as well. If I were the bride, I'd be pretty upset, but mainly I'd be upset at myself for hiring students that didn't have any experience playing at gigs. So what do you expect, you know? I guess if anything, this story is just to teach you not to cheap out on things like this, because musicians can make or break your wedding, like honestly. And you only ever get that one chance to get it right, and if you get it wrong, you're going to be forced to live with that memory forever. So yeah, don't ever cheap out on hiring musicians for big events like that. And if you're really on a budget, just play a recording. Like, I reckon at that point, a recording would have been better than what we did. Yeah, I feel like that experience scarred me almost as equally as the bride, probably. That was the first and last time I ever played at a wedding. I never did any more after that. I'm sure you guys have as well, but I definitely have my share of experiences growing up in a concert or like a recital or a competition. And yeah, it really sucks when you do, but at the same time, you didn't screw it up for anyone else. It's just yourself, you know? This is also why I have so much issues with playing in orchestras, because I feel doubly pressured. Because if I screw up, not only do I screw myself up, but I screw like 50 other people up as well for everyone. So that experience really stuck with me, because I felt really guilty about it for the bride, and I hope that it never happens to you. So yeah, that is my little story time for you today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you do like it, make sure you comment down below and let me know if you want me to do another similar kind of video. As always, remember to subscribe to me and turn on the notifications, and make sure to watch all of my other videos here as well. Until next time, stay safe and stay awkward. Bye!